and people were like, you gonna make that baby come out right now? And I was like, nah, she's fine. Literally that night my mucus plug started to come out, so I was like, looks like labor's on the way. What's up, goodies, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have an extra special video for you because I'm going to be sharing my labor and delivery story and what it's been like for the first 2 weeks as a new mom. Before I jump into all the details about the contractions and pushing her out and breastfeeding and just everything, I need you to hit that subscribe button and turn your notifications on so you don't miss out on any of my videos. I don't even want to drag it, so let's just jump right into this video. I have my special guest here. Literally as soon as I finished the intro, I heard her, so I was like, okay, let me just go get her some. But anywho, let's see, where do I even begin? First of all, let me start out by talking about why I chose a natural birth. As in, I didn't want epidural, I didn't want any medication, like I just wanted to do it on my own, just me, my body, and God. That's all I wanted. And I chose this because I wanted to experience birth. Like, I wanted to experience everything, even the pain. Like, I just wanted to be able to work with my body to kind of get her here. I didn't want to worry about any medication getting to her. I didn't want to worry about what that might do to me. Like, just nothing. Just wanted to do it on my own. That's why I chose to have a natural birth. Let's just get started in the whole how I went into labor and all that stuff. So I've been home. It's COVID, so I haven't really been going anywhere. Anyway, the Thursday before my due date, so my due date was the 16th, and that Thursday, which is the 11th, I think, I started to do exercises on my ball to kind of like get things going. And I'm pretty sure I posted on my story too, and people were like, you gonna make that baby come out right now? And I was like, nah, she's fine. Literally that night my mucus plug started to come out, so I was like, looks like labor's on the way. But yeah, and then I was experiencing some like mild cramping, but literally nothing crazy. Then Friday came, more mucus plugs still coming out. By Saturday night my bloody show started to come out, so I was just like, okay, labor is coming, things are happening. And I was like, let me just continue to do stuff to like get things going. I might have got on a ball again, walking, just trying to stay active and, you know, prepare myself for what was to come. I think I started to experience contractions maybe Sunday, like in the afternoon, evening-ish, but they were so random and like short and not painful that I was not in active labor. Like, it was early labor, I was chilling, I could eat, I could do stuff, like I was fine. Maybe for like 20 seconds it's like, ooh, that kind of hurts, and then it's over. Like, I was like, all right, this is cool for early labor. By Sunday night, when I laid down for bed, I was like, okay, these contractions getting a little strong, but I was still able to go to sleep, you know, whatever. And while this was all happening, bloody show was still slowly starting to come out, you know, whatever, mucus plug, the whole shebang. Then by Monday morning, I want to say I got up around like 8 or 9, and contractions were starting to get real. Things were starting to happen. So I'm like, okay, labor, like this is day before my due date too. So I'm like, all right, cool, active labor is here. And so we started to time them, and although they were strong, they were still kind of random, not random, but they weren't close enough for where I needed to call the midwife. I was waiting on one of 3 things: my water to break, bloody show, I mean not bloody show, like a lot of blood coming out, like dripping down my leg, or contractions to be 4 minutes apart for at least a minute for at least an hour. So water wasn't breaking, no blood obviously, and so by the time I got to that 4 minutes apart thing, I called the midwife, and she was just asking how I felt and if I wanted to come into the hospital. And I was like, yeah, because it's getting real and these contractions do not feel good. So I got myself together, had my bag already packed, whatever, and we went to the hospital. They checked us in, they did whatever their preliminary checks, and it turned out I was only 3 centimeters dilated, only 3 centimeters dilated. So she was like, you know, it's still kind of early. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's more to go. And she was just like, you're better off like going to walk for 2 hours or going back home and just continuing to labor at home until, you know, you're a little more dilated and stuff. And I was like, okay. I was a little bummed because, like I said, it was active labor at that point and the contractions were very real. And like I said, there was no pain medication, there was no nothing. It was just me and the contractions. And I had back labor, which means that instead of baby facing inward, where her back would be facing out, she was facing out and her back was up against my back. So that meant that with every contraction, her spine and my spine were rubbing. Pain, okay? Pain. It literally felt like my back was splitting with every contraction. Like my lower back in the middle, I was like, wow, help, help, please, someone send help. But yeah, so I went back home to labor home. And at this point, it was like, okay, I need to do something to keep me busy and to help this labor progress because I'm in pain. Like, no questions. And on a scale of 1 to 10, the pain was like a 9. Like, it hurt a lot. So my mom was my doula, and that's how she was able to attend the birth. And so she had me in the shower, like warm water running on my back. My boyfriend and her would massage my back with essential oils. I would just like try to hug my boyfriend with every contraction. I was squeezing hands. I was literally doing laps around my house because I couldn't sit. There was no sitting. Like, I had to stay moving. So I was walking around my house. I tried to do like cat-cow, which is when you get on all fours and you like hunch your back and then arch it to kind of stretch and manage through those contractions. But honestly, it hurt so much. I don't know if anything was really working. Like, working in a way to minimize the pain. Maybe working to help my labor progress, but I was still feeling all the pain. And I think that if it wasn't for the back labor, it might have been a little more manageable, but I don't know. So yeah, I'm doing everything. Like, my mom is like, squat, get on the ball. I literally tried it all, and just pain to the point where I finally just laid down, and for whatever reason I was able to like sleep. Obviously contractions woke me up, but I was able to kind of rest, and I think I really needed that because it's exhausting. And I felt like I had been going all of, like, not all of yesterday, but like the end of the day and then all day from the morning. Like, I was tired. So I was laying there like in a daze, just in another world. And then finally, so much time had passed. It was like 11 at night. And my mom was like, okay, let's go back to the hospital. So I'm like, all right, cool. I better be like 10 centimeters at this point, because this is some caca. And keep in mind, my water didn't break or anything like that. So I went back to the hospital. I didn't have to do the big check-in again because they already have my information. So that was nice, because it's like, you don't want to answer no questions when you going through contractions. Like, they're asking like your name and stuff. It's like, girl, I am having a contraction. So whatever. Finally got to the hospital room. She checked me and I was like, she said 6.5, 7 centimeters. And I was like, I wanted you to say 9. But I was like, okay. Like, I still got some more to go. It's fine. It was probably like, by the time I got settled, it was probably like 1. Yeah, probably like 1-ish. So I'm like, okay. By this, so now we're on, this is my due date. Like, this is the 16th, it's Tuesday. Things are happening. So I literally walked around that hospital room because I didn't know what else to do. I tried the peanut ball so I could kind of rest and keep my legs open, to keep my pelvis open. The answer was no. I tried to sit on the ball for a little bit, and that kind of helped, but not really. And the pain, like the contractions, I could see them now on the little chart, and they were getting so close together and they were so strong that I was like, if I can just walk, I'm gonna just walk. That's all I can do. Or I was also toilet sitting, which also helps to kind of get things in position, open your pelvis, get your posture right, and that was painful. Everything, just all of it hurt. And so I did that for, I don't even know, like a couple more hours. And the crazy thing about it is, while in labor, I didn't even realize how much time was passing. Like, you don't really have a sense of time. Like, hours were going by and I didn't know, because I was just trying to manage the pain. And I told them as soon as I got there, they asked if I wanted epidural. I said no. And I was like, damn, do I really not want it? But I was like, I'm gonna stick to my plan. I've been saying from jump that I'm gonna have a natural labor and I'm not gonna, you know, take any meds or anything like that. Then I got to a point where I was just like, all right, I can't no more. Like, can we get the midwives? Please check me. Am I ready to deliver? I'm ready. I feel ready. And she checked me and she was like, you still have a little bit of cervix left. And I was like, Jesus in the morning, please send help. But my cervix was completely effaced, meaning it thinned out completely. So the only thing I was waiting on was that little bit of cervix to open up so that baby could come through. And I was just like, I think she could see on my face, I was like, please help. And so she was like, we're gonna give you Benadryl. Benadryl usually helps to, you know, get rid of the last, if there's like last little bit of cervix left. And I'm thinking, I've never heard of that in my entire life, but does it do anything to the baby? She said no. I was like, well, shoot me up then. Because I had an IV in, so I was like, please put it in now, just go ahead. And I had to wait like a half an hour for it to kick in. And I had always heard about this this desire to push with the contraction, and I was like, wow, I hope that happens to me, because they were like, it feels good to relief. And let me tell you, all of a sudden with every contraction I wanted to push, but she told me like not to. I was like, oh my gosh, like it's really hard not to push. Like you want to just and just get, because it's like a relief. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying not to push. My mom is like, okay, come on, breathe. And I'm trying, and I'm like, I want to get this over with. But the half an hour went by quick. Oh, and I forgot to mention, before she talked about the Benadryl and stuff, she ended up breaking my water for me, because for whatever reason it just wasn't doing it on its own. She was like, I can feel the bulge of water, whatever, and she just popped it with her finger, and it was a gush of water, like warm water and like stuff. It was like, ew. But yeah, she did that, and once she did that, the contractions got even worse. So I was like, all right, she gotta be coming. But anyways, jump back to once the Benadryl set in, she came back and she was like, all right, girl, it's time. And I was like, whew, I'm ready. So my camera overheated, so I had to take a break, and now she's done feeding and she's sleeping. So here she is. She's the bouncing. The bouncing helps her to stay asleep. With the positions now, I thought I was gonna deliver on all fours, work with gravity, have this whole plan in my head. Got in the position. First of all, my back. Second of all, no progress. They were like, all right, let's try a different position. I got on my side with my right leg up and my left leg kind of flat. No, did not work. So I got in the old fashioned, laid on my back. She was like, put your knees all the way up, hook your arms under your legs with each time you push, and crunch up like you're, you know, doing crunches. And I'm thinking, damn, that's gonna be a lot of work. But I had the nurse on one side, my mom and boyfriend on the other side, like helping me hold my legs up. And when she was like, okay, you're gonna push with every contraction, and I was like, I bet. You don't understand. Like at this point, I can't stress this enough, I was ready for it to be done. Like I was in so much pain. I was like, this has to have an end. Like this has to end. Something's gotta give. But anyways, so first push, I'm like, okay, I know that you use the same muscles, like when you're taking a poop, you gotta push like that. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna do it. I'm gonna just pretend that I'm taking a poop, and I'm just gonna just grunt it out. So first push, I'm like really on my mic. So I'm really giving it all I got, y'all, and I could feel her head coming out, and it hurt, but like compared to what I was going through before, it was like I was like, I don't even care. Like I don't care. It didn't feel good, but it wasn't like worse than what I was experiencing before. So I was like, we'll continue to push. Thank you so much. So, and then I pushed one more time, one good, and then she was out, and I was like, I can't even explain the feeling. It was just like, am I here? Like, is this real? Did this just happen? Did I just give birth? Like, I can't even explain the feeling. So they put her on my chest. I wanted delayed cord clamping. I couldn't even tell you though how long I delayed it. I just know my midwife was like, is that enough time? And I was like, sure. My boyfriend cut the umbilical cord. They placed her on me right away. I had learned about the infant crawl, breast crawl, and so I wanted to do that with her, and she listen, she came here with energy, okay? She made her way over to my boobie and was trying to latch. I have inverted nipples though, so it was a little difficult for her to like really get on, but she was ready. She was ready to go. She had her little hand feeling around and she was making her way, and I was just like, I cannot believe this is happening. Like, it just felt so surreal. Also, a lot of you asked if I had any vaginal tears. So my perineum did not tear, thankfully, but I did have a tear on like the inside of my vagina. I didn't even feel it. I didn't even know that there was a tear, but I did get stitches, and those did not feel so great. It was like pinchy, but they're supposed to dissolve on their own, and yeah, they don't really bother me. I haven't had trouble using the bathroom or anything like that. My first pee, I was like, ooh, like scared, but it's like I could kind of feel the stitches, but it wasn't super painful. Like, I could still pee. And then I was really scared to have my first poop because I'm like, Jesus, everything's gonna just fly out. Like, it's just gonna hurt. But it wasn't bad. It really wasn't bad. So I'm thankful for that. And then I had to stay in the hospital for just one night. And you know, they did the tests on her and blood tests and blah blah blah, and everything was fine, and I was just so excited to finally go home. And I had started breastfeeding in the hospital. I think at that point it was just colostrum. It wasn't really painful like that. It's like the first latch, I was like, oh, like it's strong, like a baby's suction is strong. So it's just like a feeling you're not used to at first, but over time it starts to hurt. Like, it gets sore and my nipples cracked, and it was so bad. I was like, what the f is this? But I'm getting better, you know, 2 weeks after, and things are getting better with breastfeeding. I do use a nipple shield on my right boob because the damage on that one is just really too bad. Like, it got to the point where I cried at the thought of her breastfeeding on my right boob. So I was like, okay, something's gotta give. And my stupid pump is like not working, so whatever. Yeah, that's pretty much the story. And so far I'm so in love. Like, the first moment I saw her face, I was just like, wow, this is the little person that has been living in me for like 9 months. Like, words, I can't even put into words how I felt. And it's just like this immediate love that you have for a little person. And so it's just like, I just spend so much time just staring at her because she's so sweet. Also adjusting to like the sleeping pattern, because I don't really get, you know, 6-hour stretches of sleep. Like, that's not a thing. So I try to nap with her. I often don't. And at night she's getting better. She doesn't sleep through the night, but she sleeps on me, and I just, when she starts to stir, which is like every, I don't know, 3-4 hours, I just breastfeed her because I know she's hungry. And that's pretty much it. You guys submitted some questions. It's not gonna be a Q&A, but I'm just gonna go through them real quick, like scan them to see if there's anything that I have not touched on yet. So after delivery, some things to think about. I knew that I wanted to skip the hepatitis B vaccination because I just felt like she's fresh out the womb. Her immune system hasn't even kicked in. Like, I just didn't want her to get that. Like, I'm gonna get it later on. So I just got the vitamin K shot, which is mandatory, and they put the stuff in her eye, and that was fine. But you can absolutely request that be delayed or just not done in that moment. And delayed cord clamping is something you can look into. Like, they don't have to cut it right away. I wanted to do the infant crawl, and I requested that we have the hour of bonding time before any of her like checks and weight and all that stuff were done. That's something that they did standard, but I don't know that that's true for every hospital. So, you know, just be vocal about that stuff. I wanted my boyfriend to cut the cord. Those are the main things that I was like, okay, I want to make sure that these things happen. As far as anything that shocked me, the rush, like, okay, when they say a water break and it's like a gush of water, I was like, okay, but it was like really a huge gush, and it was really warm, and like, ooh, it was just weird. Like, I was not expecting it to be so much water. So that was something that definitely shocked me. Somebody asked about having a baby in a pandemic. So honestly, in the hospital, it wasn't, we had wipes and Lysol and stuff and masks, but I took my mask off as soon as I got in the room because I was like, there's no freaking way I'm gonna be trying to breathe through this mask through these contractions. It ain't happening. So I took mine off. My mom and my boyfriend kept theirs on. Actually, I think my boyfriend took his off too. But yeah, that was the only thing. All the nurses have masks. All of the nurses and stuff had been vaccinated already. They didn't really, like, there wasn't that much traffic in my room, so it was just kind of us in there. Honestly, it didn't really feel that different. Only thing is, if I left the room, I had to have a mask on. Like, when I left the delivery room and went to, like, I guess the recovery floor, I had to wear a mask. Just being careful and like washing my hands and stuff, and like not touching certain things. But for the most part, I didn't feel like, oh my god, I'm gonna get COVID after this, like this is so crazy. It was pretty, like, you know, regular. Just to reiterate some of the exercises that I did. So on the ball, you can do like hip rotations. So you kind of like, it's kind of like this, but you're on a ball. And then you do forward and back. You can do side to side. I did a lot of pregnancy yoga. Honestly, I just YouTubed some stuff and followed along. The cat-cow is really good. It helps the baby to get in the right position, even though mine still had her back against my back. I think where I might have went wrong is I was really consistent in my second trimester, and by my third I was so big that I was like starting to slack, and I probably shouldn't have done that. So, but yeah, doing stuff like that, squatting, sitting upright a little forward instead of leaning back. I did like squats a lot, like really low squats, just to open everything up. And she ended up being born on her due date, so I think that helped. Pregnancy yoga really helps because it's like good stretches and stuff, and the ball is like, people swear by it, and honestly I feel like after I did that whole session, like my mucus plug started coming out, so I want to say that it had something to do with it. So yeah, as far as preparation, I mean, I've been reading books and, you know, reading articles and watching videos and doing all this stuff, but I feel like nothing really prepares you because you've never experienced it, right? So you can hear other people's experiences and kind of imagine what yours might be like, but you don't know until you do it. I just knew that I was like, I'm gonna stick to my plan. Natural birth, no epidural, no nothing to induce. Like, I'm gonna get this rolling on my own, and I'm gonna get through this on my own. And I've been saying that even before I got pregnant. Like, I always said I'm gonna have a natural birth. So that was just the main thing. I just knew I was sticking to my plan, and the rest, I was like, we just gonna figure it out as we go. And I think having my boyfriend and my mom gave me like a sense of security and a sense of confidence that like I'm gonna be okay. Like, they were my support system, and they made me feel like, all right, cool, like I can do this. So I think all those things really helped me to feel like I could get through it, because chale, the pain it's real. Like, I cannot stress that enough. It hurts. Like, I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna pretend like, oh, it's not so bad. No, it hurts. It actually freaking hurts. So breathing is super important, and just moving around. Like, labor is active. They don't make sense to try to like lay down in labor. Like, that's not how that works. You have to move around. You have to make sure you're staying active so that your labor can progress. So yeah. Would I do it again? Yes, like a sicko. I wish I would have paid attention more to the signs that my baby's back was not in the best position. I would have random strong back pain, and I was like, what is that, and why is my back hurting so much? And I just didn't think anything of it. I was just like, maybe, you know, I had some back pain throughout pregnancy, not as intense as this feeling, but I figured that's what it was. So I wish that I would have been a little more active in my third trimester, and I wish I would have paid attention to those signs so that I could do things to help her turn and be in a better position to cause me a little less pain, you know, throughout labor. After giving birth, I think I was just on a high. Like, I felt fine, strangely enough. I was just bleeding a lot, which is normal. Like, you're gonna bleed because you just pushed out a whole baby and your uterus has to contract and get back down to size. So there's some blood involved. But the first night I didn't feel, they kept asking me like, do you want Tylenol, do you want painkiller? And I was like, I feel fine. The next day my entire body was sore. Like, my whole midsection, my back, like I was so sore. But it still wasn't to the point where I felt like I needed, you know, pain meds, but I felt really sore. And like, I don't have my belly anymore, so like when I first stood up I was like, whoa, like this feels weird. Like, I felt like my guts was just gonna spill out on the floor. I'm like, wow, this is weird. Like, this is new. I had to like adjust to not having a belly again. So yeah, I don't know how else to describe it. I just felt really sore, and like I had just done some real, like a real crazy workout. So overall, I think I was in labor for like active labor, maybe like 36 hours. It was definitely at least a full day and some change. I honestly wasn't even, I told you I wasn't keeping track because your sense of time once you hit active labor is like, I don't even know, like hours are going by and I didn't realize. I just knew I was feeling contraction after contraction and I was just trying to figure out a way to manage it. But definitely like more than a day, which is crazy. I don't think I'm experiencing any postpartum depression. It was just the breastfeeding thing that I was just like, if it could just not hurt so much, I could get through this. But luckily the nipple shield has been really helpful. It kind of brought my spirits back up because I was just like, why am I crying at the thought of breastfeeding? That's crazy. I have support from my mom and my boyfriend, so that's been super, super helpful because if I had to do this on my own or like just me and him, I think it would have been a little more challenging. Having both of them to rely on and help it has been extremely, extremely helpful. The worst thing about labor is the pain. The worst thing is the pain and not knowing how long it's gonna last. Like, you don't know how long you're gonna be in labor when things start. You just know you in labor and you got to get through until it's time to get the baby out. So that's why it's so important to stay active so that you can do things to help yourself progress. Because if not, and especially if you're in a hospital setting, they're gonna suggest, oh, like, let's induce you, let's give you Pitocin. And you know, for me, that's something I didn't want. So it was just really important that I tried my hardest to stay active at home even though I was in so much pain. So yeah, that's the worst thing. It's just not knowing. Like, you just don't know when it's gonna freaking end. Like, you don't know. Like, hope and pray, but until something happens, your water breaks, whatever, you're just in it till it's over. I would totally do a water birth. In fact, I love, my midwife was incredible and I just wish she did home births. So I don't know, because I would love to use her again for my next child. But I also wanted to do a home birth, so I'm not sure. But to answer the question about a water birth, I would definitely do it. And how did I know? How did I know it was time? I didn't. I mean, well, there were signs, right? Like the mucus plug and bloody show and all that stuff. But honestly, as the contractions will get stronger and closer together, and that is how you know it's time. And like, if I would have let my labor progress on its own and that little bit of cervix, I probably would have gotten to that point where I had the urge to push, and that's how you know. Or if your water breaks, you know. But yeah, honestly, I was just praying and trying to get through it. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just like, let's get to the end. Let's push her out. I would definitely do natural again because now I feel like I think that based on my experience and what I know, the next time it will definitely be easier. And if I could manage what the heck I went through, then I could do natural birth again. So yes. And I was in the hospital from 12 a.m. till she was born in the early morning, and then I left the next morning around like 11 a.m. or 12 p.m. So how many of our hours I was in there? I had to stay overnight, so yeah. My L&D nurse was amazing. Mainly because like she wasn't on me like constantly checking, but she checked just enough. She was really polite. She was really nice. You know, if I had a contraction, she would help kind of walk me through it, like deep yoga breaths. Come on, mommy, you got this. You've gotten this far. Like super, super encouraging, which was helpful to me. Asking me if I needed anything. She brought me ice. You know, she was like, do you want the TV had like this relaxing channel, and it was like either water or waterfall or just like calm sounds. And she was just really cool mainly because she was there, but she wasn't like on me constantly checking. And her bedside manners were amazing. Like she was just very, very kind and very sweet. So yes, I liked her very much. And she was attentive enough. Like if I needed something, she was there, you know. And like I said, super encouraging because obviously I was having contractions, and she was just kind of like, you know, helping me get through it. I randomly, okay, so like I miss my belly, but I don't miss my belly. Like, I don't know, it's weird. I'm so used to myself having one because, you know, I was pregnant for a while. But it's so nice to be free. Like I laid on my stomach and I was like, wow, I miss this so much. But yeah, I strangely miss it because it was kind of cute. I don't know, it's weird. I miss it and I don't at the same time. Baby girl was 8 pounds 4 ounces, my little chunka. What did I need that I didn't expect that I would need? The peanut ball I thought I was going to use a lot more, and I thought it was going to be like super helpful for when I wanted to rest and stuff, but it was useless. And then I didn't expect myself to do toilet sitting like that, but I guess that helped. I don't know, I was in so much pain, y'all, like I don't know. But the toilet sitting was like a nice change because I was just walking, I was just pacing, walking around for the most part. And so being able to sit and kind of, you know, rest for a second was kind of nice. So I didn't expect to use that as much as I did during labor. So yeah, for the most part, my birth plan, like everything went as planned. The only thing that I didn't anticipate was how freaking long I was in labor. But as far as what I wanted, everything that I wanted happened, and so I'm super grateful for that, because I know that's not always the case. But like I said, having mom, having my boyfriend, having the support, and like just trusting myself and trusting that my body was made to do this, I think went a long way and kind of helped me to stay the course and, you know, get through it. Delivering the placenta was like super easy, and it was really like, it was such a relief, which I didn't expect it to be. But by the time she came out, it's like my placenta was already right there. So I don't even know if I really pushed. I think maybe a little and then it was out, and it was like, oh, that's such a relief, like that feels so good. I didn't really have an option as far as how many people were in the room, because like I said, with COVID I could only have my boyfriend, and because the doula is considered an essential worker, I had my mom, aka the doula. So I don't know what it would have been like to have more people, but having them two was really all I needed. I think at some point, if you have too many people, it becomes a distraction / annoying. So having them two was like just enough for me. I don't know if there's anything that I could have done to prepare me more for the pain, because I didn't really know what to expect. I don't know that I was necessarily prepared for the pain, but once I started to feel it, I was like, okay, how will we get through this? Like that was my next thought, like how are we gonna get through this? I just kind of ran through some of the stuff that I didn't touch on, but that is pretty much my experience. I'm still learning so much. I'm learning my baby, I'm learning to be a mom, I'm, you know, still researching things and figuring things out. So it's just been a learning experience for me so far. Like I said, I'm just grateful to have the support that I have, because I think that's been helping me a lot to get through everything, because it's such a huge change all at once. Like you have a whole baby, you're breastfeeding, your body is changing again. When my boobs first filled up with milk, I was like, oh hell no, because they get big and they were like rock solid and they were really sore, and I was like, how I'm supposed to feed her now? I can't take her sucking on them now. So it's just a lot. So to have this support is super helpful. And yeah, I would do it again. As crazy as it was and as painful as it was, the reward, it just makes it so worth it. I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope this is not too long. But yeah, let me know if you have any more questions in the comments. I'm an open book and happy to share. And yeah, I'm gonna see y'all in my next video.